What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Obsession Podcast and Small Property Layouts. Early March here in southern Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
And Mike and I are down at my place, the Triple B. And you guys had seen us talk earlier in one of the shows about starting to do our bedding areas and thickening up of the property, which we've done almost no bedding work on this property since I've owned it. And this is going on the 4th year now.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. And we've got Mike's almost done. So that's the other part of it. So you guys, we talked about the stand. Actually, I showed you right here, this lock on that Mike and I put in last summer. We thought it would be a really good spot. We got a mock scrape kind of back up behind the camera. You guys can see how open it is in here. We got a bunch of birch and aspen in here. Also, there's some oak. But we've decided we're actually going to thicken this area up here because right now you'll be able to get the sun here once it hits noon. And if we take some of these trees out, we're going to get some sunlight to the ground and help promote all this underbrush and growth in here. Because what happens right now is the deer come in and they can see all the way across this valley. And they won't approach or come through here because it's too open. So what we're going to do is thicken it up. So Mike and I were just talking about which trees we're going to take out down here, and we're probably going to add a water hole.
Yep.
So I'm believing we're going to take a bunch of these birch down, and then you're going to get the growth right off the bottom of the stump. We're actually going to take them straight down or straight off, the majority of them, and probably hinge cut a couple of these smaller maples. And we got a couple elm in here that are dead already. We're going to put those on the ground. Hopefully that'll work out.
Yeah, because basically what we're doing is this stand here is more of a transition area, morning or night, because the bedding is back behind the camera. All of our food is on this end of the property because we're moving it. So we're really going to hope to catch them coming back up and past. And with it thick enough, they can't see us from the other ridge like they have several times. And that way we can hopefully call to them, bring them around on this main trail where the camera's sitting and get a shot at them before they go to bed.
Yeah, the thing we noticed last year was transition-wise, this was great after October 30th, basically. I'll show you guys some pictures here quick on the mock. Some of the bigger deer were in here. But before that, we had 0 pictures. So transitioning, the neighbor to the west actually has corn over there. It's a great morning spot. We get the transition from the destination food through here up to the bedding, and then we also get the transition from our lower food up through here, morning wise. I think we'll be able to actually hunt it on an evening too.
Yep.
With the downdrafts, with the bedding being up behind us, probably 75 to 100 yards is where we're going to emphasize that. We'll show that to you guys later. But this will be our first project for today. We'll start right here. Yep. We're going to go up and look at this other area. We want to make kind of heavier bedding, which we will not go into. It'll be a lot like Mike's west side of his property, lower west side of his property, where we just don't go there unless we're retrieving a deer.
Yeah, we're basically trying to stay out of both properties and set our known bedding and get them in between is what we always try to do. So we made a lot of mistakes last year on both, and we're not going to try to do it this year.
Yeah. So stay around. So we didn't get everything here we wanted done because we got a tree who's being an issue, is big and it's going to fall down in the wind, so we're going to let him be. But we took out a few of these here. You guys seen that? Basically, we're allowing some light to get down into this particular area, start to allow a lot of this underbrush to grow up. Mike ended up being able to hinge one of the cherries, so that'll end up growing regen, so that'll help. But we're going to end up putting a water hole down in here later this year, so stick around for that. But we're going to go on to the next bedding area now. A little bit of another pocket, probably what, 75 yards away. So, all right, we are up above where Mike and I just were. We were sitting here talking. You can see I had done some hinge cutting in here. Got a bunch of the regrowth coming back off a couple of the cherry trees, some of the maples. Good woody browse for them. I've seen does bedded up in here quite a bit. So all we're really going to do is emphasize this a little bit more. Basically, we're going to. And where you guys can see the edge here on both sides, we're actually going to dump a few more trees down in here. You guys can see all the raspberry bushes, some of the buckthorn and everything that's coming up in here. Drop a couple of these elms and stuff that are right here. And help this grow up. It's going to get straight south to southwest sunlight, so it's probably going to get 4 or 5 hours of sunlight a day, which is good for all the undergrowth that's going to come up in here. And then we will stay out of this particular area for sure.
They like to bed in that sun too.
So this actually faces straight west, a little bit northwest on this particular property. We've got a food plot down below we didn't talk about before, but one of our better food plots is down there, the shocker plot. And what we're doing is trying to get our does to bed here close. We've got that stand that'll be just below this by about, what, 75 yards probably?
I'd say probably 75 yards.
Put a water hole in there, and the mock scrape is already there, so we'll monitor that with camera for movement. And we will stay out of here till probably October 20 plus.
Right.
And I'm talking the stand down below us. We won't come up into this bedding area to hunt.
And they should feel real comfortable up here, you know, being on the plateau, and they can see, you know, around. So we're going to hinder their vision.
Basically.
Yeah. Make them kind of move where we want to. We talk about that a lot, making the deer move where we want them to move. So it's a pocket they use, so we're just going to enhance it.
Yeah, so we're basically on the property, is what we're talking about is bedding pockets. We're going to make a bunch of these smaller bedding pockets and keep them close in certain areas, probably between 75 and, well, probably 50 to 75 yards apart. And they'll be grouped up, and I'll show you guys on an aerial, they'll be grouped up in different spots to control our doe groups so we can hold more deer on the property. And down lower, closer to our food, which will leave the upper part for our bucks, which is all depth of cover, which we talk about all the time. So, spot number 2.
Yeah, what?
That's the advantage I have.
A little better.
That's the benefit that I have over you right now, Carl.
That's the benefit you have, Mike.
Because, you know, when you're rolling in the big cash, you buy those expensive chains.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
Then how do we buy anything?
I don't know. Well, obviously, grapevine sink alike because we both have the exact same saw.
That is correct.
Just thought I'd throw it out there to you. Hey, I don't know if you were wondering. I don't think you were.
All I got confused. This one's gonna be heavy. don't even knock.
Right where I want.
Alrighty then. Well, number 2. We open this up to the southwest. You can see we'll get a bunch of sunlight in here. Sun's actually, I don't know, probably get 5-6 hours of sunlight in the summertime down in here.
Just how I planned it.
Safety first, that's what we're all about. But we had the deer bedding in here. We know they were here, so we're just emphasizing this a little bit more. It's probably 70 yards up from that tree stand we were just at, where we had opened up a bunch of stuff down there. And this will help promote the movement to the... I thought that was the big one, baby.
No, not the big one yet.
We got a big one down there. It's probably 20 some inches. And
Widowmaker. We're getting away from that
yeah,
one.
we're like going away from that. But we got a food plot down here we call the shocker plot. It'll promote a lot more deer activity in there, and make it easier for us to hunt this particular area down below here during the rut. So
If you look at this too, how we laid it out with that wall that way, we have a trail here, and we forced them a trail off around the back side of this, which our stand basically is in the middle off this point, so they have to come around. They can't come straight down this point at us, which is not what we want.
And during the rut, them bucks like to cruise this intermediate level here. We have a lot of pictures of the bucks on the logging road, probably 100, 150 yards away. At this level, they come around this backside. This way, if they come through here, they got to check for does. They're moving on to the next area to check for does. They'll have to come right by us on that tree stand, so it's all laid out to promote that particular east-west movement, so we can hunt that stand and hopefully take a big one out of there. Okay, we are on
Next spot.
spot number 3, pocket number 3, triple B. Yeah, that's the benefit we have. Hinged it right over 180, bedding underneath that today, I'll tell you that.
We're good.
When we leave,
This spot's good.
he's laying right down. Anyhow, we got this point. You guys can see the point drop goes out probably another 20, 25 yards. It drops off pretty steep. Last year we had a food plot below there, which we're eliminating this year. We're going to make that all switch grass, promote this bedding area. They laid in here pretty heavy. Last year Mike and I both hunted a stand that's probably about 30 yards behind the camera and seen deer. Actually seen a couple of my really good shooters there. So we're going to promote this bedding area. We're going to hinge a couple of these trees, a couple of these dead trees we're going to take right down. But we're going to start by hinging a couple of maples and elm trees. We're going to take right off down here. Then we're going to drop the dead trees on top of that. And we'll hinge a couple of these maples that are off to the east.
Yeah, we got an outside edge there where we're going to set about 15 yards from the camera.
Yep. And then later this year, when things are not frozen, we're going to put a water hole about 55, 60 yards, probably 50, 55 yards off to the east of here to help promote the movement through this area.
Again, we're getting a buffer at the face of this peak, and then east-west we're trying to drop these trees to keep them moving east-west past our stand locations. So.
And on this particular property, we've got a lot of vertical. We got 400 feet of vertical.
It continues to go up behind the camera yet.
Yeah, steep. And we're promoting east-west movement back and forth, so edging throughout this whole setup, and we should have close to 4 miles of edging for the deer to work both directions, east-west, which opens up spots for us to hunt them during the transition. So let's see what we can do. We got Mike on the saw. It's not good. It's dangerous. Here we go.
Safety first. You guys love that shit. All right. Let me get the camera. All right. You
Alrighty then.
That's a good tree anyway. That don't need to be on there.
No. I like that. I'll take that.
Yeah, go ahead, hit it. I feel Hey, that first one, Mike, take it down the hill. That one? Yeah. That one will just go down the hill. That's what I'm talking about.
Or in other words, as my friend Mike would say, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about over here.
So, you guys can see we laid a bunch of trees down here. Not a ton, but a few. And thickened it up a lot the way we wanted it to be. Okay, so that actually emphasizes our hunting to the east of us here with west winds. We'll be able to check it out. The movement the bedding areas here, we've got a really good trail up above where we've actually captured a lot of our bigger deer moving. So if they're coming downwind to check in the mornings, they have to pass right by us, and that's trouble. So we're expecting the does to be laying in here because the food is just down below them, about 150, 200 yards. That's a bonus. A little bit later, probably towards the end of the month when the sap starts to flow a little bit better, we'll go up to the top of this ridge. We'll show you guys some bedding improvements for bucks that we're going to do. But we're going to stick with the doe bedding right now. We got a couple other places to move along on
We are
towards
done
the east here.
for the day on the Trumpet Bee. Beginning of March, we got, 3 spots that we got done?
3 spots. 3 spots.
That's a good thing.
We're debating on a couple more things. We'll be back later in the month to do some more work. Got a lot of snow in the woods yet, so I'm running slicks on the wheeler. Gets a little tough going up in there.
The Oscar Mayer mobile.
Oscar Mayer
Bologna
mobile.
skin tires.
Right on. But anyway, we got that done. We think we got a couple of really good pockets in there that'll help promote some of the east-west movement on the property. So thanks for watching Small Property Layouts, and we will get with you guys in another week. So
See ya. March. Get busy.
correct.